The air in Baghdad was thick, heavy, not with humidity but with anticipation. You could feel it in the streets, in the whispers of the locals, see it in their wary eyes. We, the journalists, were outsiders. Our presence, a constant reminder of the storm brewing on the horizon. My days were spent in a strange limbo, setting up cameras, testing satellite links, all against the backdrop of a city bracing for impact. Interviews with Iraqi citizens were telling, some defiant, others resigned, all fearful. The silence before the storm is always the hardest. You're waiting, listening for the first roar of thunder. In Baghdad, that roar came not from the sky, but from the earth itself. A tremor of fear that shook us all. The first explosions ripped through the night, a terrifying symphony of light and sound. The sky over Baghdad, once a tapestry of stars, became a canvas of fire. The ground trembled, the windows rattled, the air filled with the acrid smell of gunpowder. Disbelief gave way to adrenaline. Years of preparation, countless hypothetical scenarios, all vanished in that instant. It was chaos, controlled, calculated chaos, but chaos nonetheless. We scrambled for our gear, the weight of the world suddenly heavy on our shoulders. The world watched in real time as Baghdad burned. We were the conduit, transmitting those images, the raw, unfiltered truth of war, into living rooms across the globe. The responsibility was immense, the burden heavier than the equipment we carried. Fear is a primal instinct. It's the body's natural defense mechanism, screaming at you to run, to seek shelter. But when your duty demands you stand your ground, you learn to compartmentalize. To push the fear down, deep down, and focus on the task at hand. Every explosion sent a jolt of terror through me. Every shell whistling overhead, a stark reminder of my own mortality. But the camera lens became my shield, my way of making sense of the madness unfolding before me. There were moments, fleeting but powerful, when the fear receded and empathy took over. The sight of a mother clutching her child, their faces streaked with dirt and tears, transcended the chaos. It was in those moments that I understood the true cost of war. Section 4. The Faces of Conflict. Children, soldiers, and the scars of war. War is a brutal equalizer. It doesn't discriminate between age, gender, or creed. It leaves its mark on everyone, etching itself onto the landscape and into the very souls of those who witness its fury. I saw the fear in the eyes of children, their innocence shattered by the deafening roar of bombs. I saw the stoicism of soldiers, young men and women thrust into a maelstrom of violence, their faces hardened by the things they had seen and done. But amidst the carnage, I also witnessed extraordinary acts of courage and compassion. Doctors and nurses working tirelessly to save lives, ordinary citizens risking their own safety to help their neighbors. These acts of humanity, flickering like candles in the darkness, served as a powerful reminder that even in the depths of despair, hope can endure. Section 5. Baghdad's Unseen Wounds, the Psychological Fallout. The physical scars of war are easy to see. The rubble-strewn streets, the bombed-out buildings, the wounded and the dead. But the psychological wounds, the invisible scars etched onto the minds of those who lived through the conflict, run far deeper. We documented the stories of families torn apart, of lives shattered, of futures left hanging in the balance. The psychological toll of war, the invisible enemy that lingers long after the last shot is fired, is perhaps its most insidious legacy. As journalists, we were not immune to the psychological impact of the conflict. We carried the weight of the stories we witnessed, the burden of bearing witness to unimaginable suffering. Many of us, myself included, would later grapple with the emotional fallout of our time in Baghdad. Section 6. Bearing witness, carrying the weight, a lifelong imprint. Leaving Baghdad was a bittersweet experience. Relief at escaping the constant threat of violence was tempered by the knowledge that for the Iraqi people, the war was far from over. The images we captured, the stories we told, stayed with us long after we returned home. The experience of covering the war in Iraq left an indelible mark on my soul. It taught me the true cost of conflict, the resilience of the human spirit, and the importance of bearing witness, even when it is difficult, even when it hurts. The truth, as they say, has a way of finding its way out. It is our duty as journalists, as human beings, to shine a light on the darkest corners of the world, to give voice to the voiceless, and to ensure that even in the face of unimaginable horror, hope and humanity prevail.